Raptors Digest. What's up and welcome back, everybody. Another game in Toronto versus the New York Knicks, who the Raptors were able to beat earlier this season. You come off a really disappointing result versus OKC, almost winning it at the end of the game there with a Justin Champagnie putback. And Fred VanVleet, the Flames are coming on early and often right now. We're up 21-7 on the Knicks, and Fred VanVleet already with 2 3-pointers at least this game that I've seen. Maybe I've missed one since I've tuned in, but Fred VanVleet making our bets look really nice right now. As you can see, I took him over 3.5 3-pointers. And then Scotty Barnes, I need assists and rebounds for him tonight, combined stats of 11. So whether that's a lot of assists, a lot of rebounds, 5 of one and 6 of the other, at that point, I'll end up getting my bet. So I feel nice about the Scotty bet. And then Fred VanVleet coming out hot for this Raptors team. He's got to break his slump. I know he ended up with 19 last game, but it really didn't get going for him until the fourth quarter when Lou Dort just finally gave up a little bit to him. But doing a great job that game, the Canadian Lou Dort covering Fred VanVleet. Does not hit the bet. We end up blowing last game, but I went right back to VanVleet on the 3-pointers. I think he'll end up bouncing back in a big way for this Raptors team. And shouts out everybody in the chat right now. Appreciate you guys who are tuning in. And I'm seeing some talk already discussing Ben Simmons and his ability to play center. So I do think he can play center, which will be an asset to this team. I know we're going to use him in the front court opposed to his point guard if he were to come here. But I do got to say, it won't fix the 7-footer issue. Clearly, Ben Simmons is 6'10", something nice like that. But he's really like an OG Anunoby size player where he's not going to be effective in every matchup as a center, right? He doesn't give you that kind of versatility the team's still looking for. Although you would take him if you're able to get him at a good price. And trade talks are intensifying, guys. Ben Simmons looks like he will be moved really soon, or at least that's all the buzz from Woj and the other NBA insiders. Loose ball foul here on New York. That bucket won't count. Raps with a big lead, 23-7 right now. Chris Boucher's looked pretty nice in his start. I haven't seen all of the minutes coming in, but Chris has looked really good since I've turned it on. He hit a 3 to open up the game there, which is a great sign. Chris Boucher hitting down threes. I missed that, but finally getting one tonight. And then he's out of the game right now with 2 personal fouls. But so far, what looks like to be a pretty good start for him. He's had to get it going, and starting is a nice little nod. We have a lot of guys out still. Kem Birch, Precious, OG, not in the lineup. So 2 centers that would normally play ahead of Chris are sitting, opening up the way for him to come in a little bit. Brian saying, sup bro, Bri and little Eric in the house. Shouts out to Brian and Eric. These guys are always tuning in. Appreciate you boys. And then Fournier knocking down the 3. So let's talk a little bit about New York and how they've panned out, because it's been so depressing for the Knicks. After having a really good season, you end up being eliminated by the Hawks, Trae Young being the villain in MSG. Really cool playoff series, but you end up losing. Had a great regular season, but you were young and hoping to build on that. And in the offseason, picking up Kemba Walker as well as Fournier, looked like you were going in the right direction. Mitchell Robinson's coming back as well. Obi Toppin's a bit more developed. You get Derrick Rose, of course, the legend. Even though he's post-surgery, he's another serviceable guy that would help out a young team. You just don't get any... the only guy you really lose, I believe, is Hardaway, unless I'm missing someone obvious here. RJ Barrett coming into his own as well. It just hasn't worked out for the Knicks, though. And I like Randall, too. I got to say, he's a workhorse guy, deserving of a lot of credit, but the Knicks have not got it going whatsoever. They're a Tom Thibodeau coach team, which means you're normally going to be very stingy defensively. What do you think has gone wrong with the Knicks? I know Kemba Walker's under-delivered a little bit, but there's a multitude of reasons why this team has not been doing well. And Pascal Siakam getting fouled. He's going to the line to shoot, too. He's had a decent little start as well. But yeah, I got to say this Knicks team does have some players. It's really weird the way their season's turned out so far. And Susie in the chat saying, can you believe Kemba Walker benched? I didn't know he was benched right now, but I don't blame Tom Thibodeau for doing something drastic. As I was saying, he's been under-delivering as a Knick. He ended up going home too. Like, he's from New York somewhere. Big time free agency signing for the Knicks, but yeah, it hasn't led to anything positive for them. I don't know how much they're paying him. But either way, really disappointing for that situation. I didn't know they benched him, but again, doesn't surprise me to hear that. Pascal with his second free throw knocks it. He gets both. So it's 25-10 right now for the Raptors. way to start open this game. You got to be hungry after what happened versus OKC. And speaking of what happened versus OKC, we got Justin Champagnie checking in a little earlier into this game. He had 12 minutes, was perfect from the field, no turnovers, and almost won the game. He had 5 points, 2 rebounds. I can't remember if I said that, but Justin Champagnie making the most of his minutes and talking about he's always staying ready, and it gets a little bit of an early nod first quarter. I think this is the first time I've seen him in a first quarter all year for the Raptors, so they're looking to ride some momentum here. Chris in the mid-range misses it. Susie in the chat saying Randall doesn't have full floor vision. You're right, but he does have a pretty versatile game. I mean, he can score on the interior, and he's a really, really good three-point shooter, actually. He's put a ton of work into that part of his game, but maybe not a great facilitator. And then if Kemba Walker's struggling too, you're going to need to fill that void of playmaking on your team. We know how important that is. Pascal Siakam from 3, just misses. Champagnie tries to get the rebound, but Randall's there to grab it. That's one thing Champagnie's always good for, is going up and crashing the glass. Not too tall. I would like to say like 6'7", 6'8", but a whole lot of balance and aggressiveness. He played in one of the harder college divisions, ended up averaging close to 19 points and 11 rebounds. One of the most slept on players in the draft, really, but getting his opportunity, another underdog in the Toronto system. And there's the mid-range J there for Gary Trent Jr. The Raptors up 27-10, a 17-point lead right now for the Raps. Siakam guarding Randall. Finds Derrick Rose, misses the 3. I don't think Derrick Rose has been amazing either. I know he had a decent start to the season, but if Randall's off his game playmaking-wise, and Kemba Walker's not producing like he's supposed to, then it makes sense you're going to have issues with your playmaking. And then Gary Trent Jr. All right, guys. The Flames are coming on. Hitting another 3, putting us up by 20 points right now. This has been an unreal start for Toronto. And then Fred VanVleet applying the defensive pressure, forcing Derrick Rose to turn over the ball. It's going Toronto's way. So Shayar in the chat saying, RJ going to get a career high against us. He always does good against us. That is true. The Canadians in general seem to show out. And last game, SGA and Lou Dort scoring. I guess SGA had 26, I think. And then I know Lou Dort had 22. So the Canadians do play well in Toronto. I even saw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander upload an Instagram post after saying, shout out my city or love my city. Whatever it was, you could tell it meant something to him playing in Toronto. 2 Canadians, man. You love to see them thriving. And then tonight, RJ. He's a guy that I haven't given as much a spotlight when I've talked about Canadian players, but he deserves it, man. A really, really solid prospect in the league. And, well, prospect. Young star. I'll say that. He is going to be a baller in the league for a long time. Obviously, was a part of that iconic Duke team with Cam Reddish, Zion, RJ, and who else was on that team? There was another really good player on that Duke team, but people been knowing about RJ Barrett, and he has looked really good this season, even though the Knicks have struggled. Do you guys think he's the best player on the Knicks? It's close between him and Randall. I think obviously you go with RJ as like the career franchise guy. But even right now, I would say that RJ Barrett would be a tempting player to take over Randall, especially if Randall continues to struggle with his playmaking. And shouts out to 23 people we got watching right now. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Shayar also saying, Josh, if Pacers, a team that are rebuilding, overtake us in the standing, it's so basically Shayar is saying if a rebuilding Pacers team overtakes us in the standings, this season is done. I mean, if we end up that far out of the playoffs, then yes. There's certain moments already this year where I've been like, okay, I officially don't care about the win record. Let's just go out there and develop and enjoy watching Raptors basketball. But yeah, of course, in the back of my mind, there's also been moments where I'm like, we could maybe make the play-in. And to this moment, I do think that's a possibility. And I don't want to point to any one team and be like, if they pass us, this means that, or, one thing or the other. I'm strictly focused on the Raptors, and I do think that they have a good chance to get back into potentially playoff basketball picture in the East. But yeah, you can't be letting teams like the Pacers pass you. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but the Pacers are still good. As much as they're rebuilding, I mean, they've got a lot of pieces. Turner, Sabonis, Brogdon, Karis LeVert. like some really good players. Honestly, the East is deep. I still think majority of like heavyweight star power, if that makes sense, most of that still resides in the Western Conference. But when it comes to a tough schedule, like all 15 to 16 teams, like it's got to be the East. It's been a lot better this offseason, and a lot of people talking about the Bulls. Gary Trent Jr. misses the shot. That's rebounded there by Julius Randle, who takes it the other way. He's guarded by Fred VanVleet. I love it, man. Fred not backing down. Forces Randle to pass it out to Rose, who goes at Svi Mikhailuk and gets it to go off the glass. Svi Mikhailuk's been cold. Let's see if we can get him going off the bench. He's been part of the struggles off of the bench, not producing as much. I keep referencing this stat, but the Raptors' starting lineup is like, or was recently in the top 3 for offensive production, and then the bench was like number 29. So a little bit more parity there would help us get wins. Fred VanVleet misses the 3. That was deep. As you can see, I bet on the 3s tonight. Hopefully you can keep hitting them. And then Svi Mikhailuk with a nice defensive play on the transition, but ends up batting it out of bounds, so it will stay Knicks ball. So 1-800-Lunatic saying Randall is their best player, but I think it will be RJ soon. Pretty much agreed. I think I would take RJ even now, but it is dead close. Shout out Randall too. He's become a great player since joining New York. It took him a while to find a home in the league. I know he was with New Orleans. I think he started out with the Lakers. There was definitely one other stop in there as well, but Julius Randle's a guy who's just never really given up and had the, I would say he's had the Mamba mentality of just locking himself in the gym and trying to become the best player he can, and now he's a shot maker. Like legitimately kind of from anywhere. The Raptors have seen it before too. It's not a fun day when you're getting lit up from 3 by Julius Randle. I'm pretty sure the first time we faced them, didn't he start like 5 of 5 from 3-point range? He's got some nice upside, and he's not old either, but RJ's the man in New York for years to come, I think. Ty Cornfield saying the same thing. Randall over Barrett. Teflon saying smoking on the Knicks pack. Bing bong. Shayar asking me if I watch the NFL. So I do sometimes. I'm definitely a casual when it comes to the NFL. And there's Yuta Watanabe hitting his free throw. But I used to be a Seahawks fan when I was in high school and playing football as well. I was really into it then. Now I kind of cheer for the Bills just because that's where Toronto's closest to, and they have a fun team even though they've been losing the past couple weeks. I mean, that was tough. The Patriots only passing the ball 3 times and beating you 13-10. That's kind of a slap in the face. I know the weather conditions were crazy, but Bills Mafia have been a little bit quiet lately. I'm still riding with them, though, in terms of my current fan base. Yuta pulls up for the 3, misses, and then Champagny tries to get the rebound, but Robinson's all over that. I was surprised. I was checking out the gambling lines, and Vegas right now is putting Mitchell Robinson at, I want to say like 5.5 total points. So that's where they're like, he could go above or under, pretty much even chance. Has he been offensively that bad? Because I know the Knicks were really looking forward to getting him back in the lineup this year. Maybe, but his numbers have been underwhelming in terms of what Vegas is predicting him to do since he's got back. But a 7-footer in the league who definitely has respect defensively, I thought. Seems like it's been a disappointing season for a lot of different Knicks players. The only thing good coming out of New York right now is these street interviews that keep blowing up on TikTok. Scotty in the mid-range, a little bit too strong, misses the shot. And there you go. So the quarter comes to an end. 31-14 being the score. I got to update my scoreboard. It's not even going right now. Apologies for that, guys. But what a first quarter for Toronto, who has just come out to a dominant lead here by 16 points, holding them to only 14. We've been playing really great defense, especially in the first half. Now, that defense hasn't always been consistent, but tonight it's looked good the whole way through, and you end up putting up 31. That's the one issue I have noticed, that sometimes our defense will be locked in. But we'll just admit, this team does have some issues scoring sometimes. Well, right now, that's not the issue at all. 31-14, really good first quarter. I can't give any exact takeaway, but Fred VanVleet, 2 3-pointers there. He's on his way to getting over 3.5, so 4 at least in the match. Scotty Barnes, I don't know what he has for assists and rebounds. I'm going to check that right now. So Barnes has, he's got 3 rebounds, 2 points, no assists yet. He's 1 of 4. I don't know. I guess a bit of a shaky quarter for Scotty, but he didn't look visibly too bad out there, and things can change quickly. I'll take the 3 rebounds. I only need 11 total stats between that and the assists. Very doable. And then let's see who had the most points that quarter. So it was Van Vliet with 9 points, Gary Trent Jr. with 8. Okay, yeah, and so I was double checking that Van Vliet's only hit 2 3-pointers. He's 2 of 3. But yeah, it's looking pretty nice right now for the Raptors. And Siakam, I saw someone in the chat here talking about the way that Siakam's been playing. Let me find that. Either way, someone was commenting on the way that he's been playing recently, being very pleased with it, and I have to agree. I've heard that Nick Nurse had a conversation with him about playing more spot up to the basket, because we already know Pascal likes to get deep in the post, spin around a bunch, try to get fouled, or just get someone to bite out a position. It's a pretty broken style of basketball sometimes, and I'm split between this place of that's sort of what he's meant to do, right? I get we pay him the big dollars, but he naturally scores off of broken plays. Like, he's a great hustle 2-3 option. That's ideal for him. But right now, Nick Nurse seems to be trusting his skill a bit more, saying, no, shoot over people. You've got a jump shot. If you're open from 3, don't think twice about it. Jack it up. He's just seemed to play a bit more of a finesse game, which, to be honest, I thought might have hurt Pascal. But it's been looking like a really good change. I mean, he's not trying to score ugly buckets as much. He's shooting over guys. He's taking the first shot he gets. Whatever he's been doing, it's been working. I know I'm branded as the Pascal hater, but giving him his respect right now. It's a nice little first quarter with him. 4 points. Oh, I'm not going to lie. I didn't notice that he was 1 of 6 on field goals right now. As a general observation, though, what I said still stands, that I think Pascal's game has looked much better, especially in the past 5 or 6 games. After a pretty shaky return. It's been sloppy for him still, I'll admit that, but getting usually at least 20 points a night for this Raptors team now. He's got the ball right now in the paint, covered by D. Rose, takes it in and misses the left-handed layup. Pretty good look at the basket, but blows that one. He is not having an efficient night right now. I thought he was, but no. He's got 4, 6, and 2, though, so kind of getting a balanced stat sheet at the moment. The Knicks hit a 3. You got to imagine that they respond pretty quick. That's R.J. Barrett getting that bucket. Raps got to keep their foot on the gas right now. That third quarter against OKC was giving me nightmares. Need a consistent effort to get a W at home right now. That'd be very nice. Delano Banton with the ball. He's been a little bit quiet recently. Hopefully we can get a nice little game from him. And then Yuta Watanabe getting blocked there by Mitchell Robinson. They pass it up the court, and then Obi Toppin's fouled. He'll be shooting too. Shayar is saying, Josh, I'm a Buccaneers fan just because Tom Brady, basically just a Brady fan. I can relate to that. I wasn't always a diehard Brady guy. As you know, I was a Seahawks fan at one point. And if you know much about the NFL, the play we should have given to Marshawn Lynch on like the 2-yard line, instead we pass it, get picked off by Butler, ends the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, Super Bowl MVP. I think that was his 4th ring, maybe his 5th. Either way, or I think it was his 5th ring. My Seahawks have felt the wrath of Tom Brady at a time where I was much more into football. That made me not like him for a while. But now that I'm sort of in Bills Mafia, shifting away from the Seahawks side of things, I guess I'm a bandwagoner fan too. I can appreciate Tom. He is fully the GOAT in football, and he's a lot of fun to watch, even now at age 43 or whatever. Yuta Watanabe, I'm going to get back to basketball right now. Hitting a big 3 there for the Raptors. The basketball GOAT himself, Watanabe, drilling that for the Raps. Emmanuel quickly passes it off there to Obi Toppin, who misses the floater. That's good defense by Scotty Barnes. That's a soft foul. That's a no call in my books. Looked like Scotty went up straight there, but they call it as a foul. Obi Toppin will be shooting too. I gotta say, I do like Emmanuel quickly on the Knicks. He's a guy that had amazing stats last season, but really wasn't discussed whatsoever in the Rookie of the Year chat. That ended up being a 2-horse race between Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball ended up winning, but a lot of people feeling like Ant got robbed. And to this day, I think the comparison between Edwards and Ball will be a tight one, but LaMelo's my pick, and oh my god, it's still crazy to think the Warriors could have had LaMelo. I know Wiseman suits their needs tenfold better in terms of, wanting a center on the team. You already are very guard heavy. You got Poole, Thompson, Curry. I think, is Damian Lee a guard too? He's probably a forward, but you got more than enough guard depth. It makes sense that they went and got the big, but even on draft day, I was still thinking to myself, go get LaMelo Ball. He'd be the perfect guy for Steph Curry to hand the torch to. Like, that would have just set up another dynasty, or not dynasty era, but just more Showtime Warriors basketball, even after the retirement of Thompson and Curry. But they got Wiseman instead. Maybe it'll end up being a good long-term chess move, but I'm convinced LaMelo Ball is going to be a star for years to come. And there you go. Spicy P playing a little bit of bully ball, getting a basket. I know I was saying that he's been getting skilled buckets recently, but getting one dirty there, they all count the same. And then quick move by Derrick Rose at the other end to put the Knicks within a little bit closer range. It's still 36-23. Don't expect the Knicks to go away yet. Svi pulls up from three, misses, and then Scotty Barnes with the rebound. That's a big board there. Grabs it over Burks. I bet those Scotty Barnes rebounds and assists. Keep tallying those up, Scotty. Oh, wow. What a block there by Robinson. That wasn't a great move by Siakam, but Robinson making a defensive play. Lucas Sims saying Pascal would fit on the Warriors. I've been noticing that for a hot minute. I remember there was a report where, quotation, it said the Warriors are enamored with the idea of Pascal Siakam. And I would be too if I had that kind of spacing out there. I mean, Pascal would thrive in that system. And the Warriors got to see Pascal in the NBA Finals where him and Kawhi just went off. People sleep on that bucket that Pascal got. I think with about 3 minutes left in the closeout Game 6. Scotty Barnes with a big block there on Obi Toppin. Now he's going coast to coast. Oh, just misses that wide layup. I think that was Robinson contesting him. That's over a 7-footer. Pretty difficult, but defensive play, trying to get the defense to offense. Scotty Barnes. Derrick Rose. Oh, and then Robinson getting a dunk, cutting in the lane. Shouts out Scotty Barnes, man. John Buchan in the chat saying this is the best Raptors channel ever. Scotty Barnes for Rookie of the Year, question mark. Scotty Barnes for the MVP 2027. Book it. Earlier than that, actually. 2026. Missed shot there for the Raptors. D Rose brings it back. D Rose not getting injured is one of those great basketball hypotheticals that people always ask, like, how far could that team have gone? And I saw a quote this year. This is definitely not a tasteful thing to say on a live stream, but this was a real quote that came from Joakim Noah. He said that he remembered Derrick Rose tearing his ACL similar to the way he remembers 9/11. I was like, pardon, how is that? Like, Joakim Noah was just trying to say that he was like devastated on a new level, like national tragedy. But I was like, okay, that might be a little bit of an out-of-pocket comparison there by Joakim Noah. That guy he's also like a spear fisherman. Have you guys seen those videos? Joakim Noah is one of the craziest personalities to play in the NBA. He's like a modern day Rodman. A little bit different than Rodman, but that kind of vibe, right? Just a crash and bang athlete in the league who's kind of crazy, I won't lie. But that when I saw that quote, I couldn't believe my eyes. Right now, 37-25. The Raptors are up by 12 on the Knicks at home. Pascal Siakam shoots his second free throw and misses it. But the Raptors get the rebound. Pascal misses the second shot. Obi Toppin collects it for the Knicks. Worst YouTube channel ever in the chat saying Boucher is so effective defensively. If they don't put Boucher back in, goodbye lead. Yeah, he's been playing a nice game. I can't say that consistently this season he's been effective defensively or offensively for that matter, but tonight he's come out pretty energized after getting the start. So yeah, maybe ride that energy a little bit because Chris Boucher did look really good early in this game, and they're cutting into that lead big time. It's a single-digit lead now. We're only up by 9, and to think that you had a 20-point lead pretty much minutes ago there in the first quarter, you want to keep your foot on the gas. We remember what happened versus OKC in the third quarter. I do feel like this Raptors team should get a response tonight, and I was kind of surprising to see that we're the betting favorites on the game tonight, but it made sense. I do feel like the Raptors should pull out a W, but I'll knock on wood for everybody anyways. Sorry, everyone, I have a bit of a cough right now. So 1-800-LUNATIC saying Boucher on defense is tough. Man bites on every pump fake. He wants to get those block shots. So that doesn't surprise me. I do love that Boucher will also jump in front of everything. People always say that guy gets dunked on all the time. But so does Jared Allen. And Jared Allen's one of the best shot blockers in the league. Chris Boucher, definitely not in that conversation. But when he's clicking defensively, you can tell, like, he makes the other team feel the length all night in terms of getting up there on the glass, rejecting shots, contesting threes even. I think he blocked a 3 last game. So he's improved his effort for sure. I think starting has given him a bit of a nice green light that he hasn't felt since last year. Because think about it. At the beginning of last year when we were able to just fully green light Chris, he was playing with starter minutes basically every night, even though he was coming off the bench. He was getting a big role with our group. This season, no more Baines. Obviously, Serge and Mark have been long gone. And then now you bring in Kem Birch and Precious Achiuwa. Those are 2 guys that you're going to need to be fighting minutes for. So it makes sense that Chris has had a bit of a regression. But just his overall intensity, I find, hasn't been there. Good to see it coming back in little doses now, though. Jeremy W. predicting a Knicks win by 10. Okay, we'll see. We'll see about that. Tom Duke correcting him, saying, wrong, Raptors win by 12. Sounding more like it. Shouts out to the 56 people who are watching right now, guys. Drop a like spike in the chat if you are tuning in. So 1-800-LUNATIC saying we definitely are not the favorites tonight, missing OG, Kem, and Precious. Maybe so, but Vegas at least put us as the betting favorites. So there was more money to be made betting on the Knicks tonight than there was to be on the Raptors, at least in the eyes of gambling or odds makers down in Vegas. Or wherever they do this stuff. I don't know. Ray in the chat saying, seeing OG on the bench just hurts my heart. He just looks like he's in pain sitting with his hip injury. Yeah, I mean, it's tough watching him sit on the bench for a number of reasons. And he had such... Oh, no, Gary Trent Jr. is holding his hand here. I hope... Looks like he went for a steal and maybe jammed his finger badly. Okay, he's holding the ball now. He's all right. At least it's not like a dislocated finger or anything. Pulls up and gets the jump shot. Okay, never mind. False alarm, everybody. Gary Trent Jr. is just fine. Tom Duke in the chat saying, like Spike. You guys heard the man. Appreciate it as always. T-Bird Brad piping up saying Miles Turner over everything. And Raptors fans want Turner badly, especially after he put out that tweet saying, or he quote tweeted somebody who made a joke about him becoming Kilometers Turner from Miles Turner. Just a complete dad joke. And he retweeted. He was like, yeah, this one right here with a bunch of laughing emojis. Is that a sign? I don't know. I have kind of learned better than to look too deeply into stuff like that. Remember when Montrezl Harrell literally unfollowed everybody that's affiliated with the NBA, only followed the Raptors, and then named his AAU team that he coaches and organizes the Montrezl Harrell Raptors. Used our logo too. At that moment in time, I was convinced that Harrell was going to be the guy that we signed. Didn't end up happening. Ended up being Aaron Baines. So in some sense, consider yourself lucky. We ended up with Scotty Barnes as partially a result of having Baines on the roster. I know what you're thinking, like, oh, is one player really going to send you to the lottery? With the amount we tried to play him, with how ineffective Baines was, yes, he definitely influenced our chance of getting those lottery odds. Boucher from 3, misses it. Utah, misses it. 2 back-to-back misses for the Raptors. I got to put on the ice. I got my toque on. I'm still feeling warm, but the Raptors a little bit cold on the shots right now. The Knicks are back in this one, man. And then Obi Toppin flying in for the dunk. We only got a 3-point lead. 1 shot out of this right now for the New York Knicks. Stuff happens quickly. Only 5 minutes left in the first half. Fred VanVleet cuts in the paint, throws it out to Banton. That pass goes pretty far, but Delano's able to get it. He's going to go to the basket. Pulls up. Oh, almost gets it to go off the glass, but misses. That was pretty good defense there by, I think, Burks, who was D'ing him up. Quickly. Wow, ties up the game. Emmanuel Quickly. Kemba Walker coming off the bench, all hyped up. If you guys missed it, Susie and I and a few others in the chat were discussing what's going on with Kemba Walker right now, who is a big-time anticipated free agency signing. He's coming home to New York, has had some pretty good years in Boston, was a star in Charlotte. A lot of hope that he could help bring this Knicks team from a first-round exit to really contending. The roster looks good, especially when you consider how they did last year. Tom Thibodeau's a great head coach. Things have not been clicking, and a lot of this has fallen on the shoulders of Kemba Walker, who now is getting to be a healthy scratch. He's been benched, despite what he's getting paid, despite the role that they gave him. It's not been working out, so he's had his butt on the bench now for what seems to be the whole game, probably the whole rest of the game. And guys like Emmanuel Quickley, I really do like in the league. I think he made more three-pointers than LaMelo did as a rookie, and had pretty similar other stats too. LaMelo Ball deserved Rookie of the Year in my books, but don't sleep on Emmanuel Quickley. He was one of the steals of past drafts. So Harjop in the chat saying Svi shouldn't be in the rotation. Svi's been struggling. I'm a big Svi Mikhailuk fan. I'm always defending Svi G Water, but I'm starting to agree that he's maybe you stick with it and push him through this. He has not been playing great at all, though. And maybe a guy like Justin Champagny deserves more of Svi Mikhailuk's minutes at this point. And you do see Svi Mikhailuk not playing as much as Champagny here in this first half. Champagny came in early in the first quarter, which was kind of cool to see. Nick Nurse hoping he can ride that momentum off the missed shot at the end of the OKC game, which has still been keeping me up. But yeah, Svi Mikhailuk has been in a rut, to say the least. Dave S. also saying Banton has been a straight negative. You know what? I expected him to come back to earth a little bit and not be a steady contributor every single night. And it has happened. Banton's looked pretty human. It is what it is. I don't think that's like a lasting trend either, but I agree. I've been talking on the podcast about how Banton looks a little bit out of rhythm recently. Jeremy W. letting the chat know, here we come, Knicks. We don't talk about it much, but Riker is like a closet Knicks fan. Kind of the way I'm a closet Memphis Grizzlies fan. Could never compare to my love for the Raps, but Memphis is my second favorite team. Drop your second favorite team in the chat right now, guys. I'm curious to hear where Raptors fans like to cheer other than Toronto. Everyone's got one. We can admit it. Matty Maru in the chat saying Miles Turner might get us too many wins. Yeah, too many wins for us to know what to do with. Maybe we'll just spare that whole situation and keep him there in Indiana. He wants out, though, and I'm really hoping the Raptors give him a nice deal. I hope that they send a decent trade over to Indiana to potentially make this happen. What are you guys willing to give up for Miles Turner? It's a big question, right? He's a guy that solves that 7-footer void. Great next-level defensive player. And more than capable offensively, too. Surprisingly decent three-point shooter. I've been a fan of Miles Turner's game, and apparently so have the Raptors. They've been periodically checking in on him throughout his career, seeing if he's available through trade, whatever the situation is. Oh, and Scotty Barnes with a good defensive play there, and Gary Trent Jr. recovers the ball. Fred VanVleet with it now. Still need Fred VanVleet three-pointers, but Scotty pulls up for a long two, it looks like, but bangs it. That's a nice shot there from Scotty Barnes. Tom Duke saying, I like the Bulls at present to watch for fun. I do agree. The Bulls are a really exciting team to watch. I could see them losing in the conference finals. That's like my ceiling for this Bulls team. But they're looking really good. And how could you not cheer for DeMar if you're a Raptors fan? Come on now. Out of bounds for New York. It's going to be Toronto ball. Scotty Barnes' shot has just looked so smooth. Even when he's missed, his mechanics are just right on point. You can tell that's been a focal point of his development since getting into the league. And even before, you saw him shooting threes in pre-draft videos. You know, he heard the criticism. He heard the chatter about his offensive game, and he's been making it click early. Quickly with the ball to Randall, who pump fakes the three. Guarded by VanVleet. He goes hard in the paint. Oh, and Fred getting the steal. I'm getting the flames on for a defensive play, guys. Fred VanVleet holding his ground versus Julius Randle. Ends up forcing a turnover, and then Chris Boucher gets fouled at the other end. This is the answer we need. The Knicks come storming back. You got a huge lead. Knicks, yeah, it's a game of runs. They come back. Happy the Raptors are here to answer right now. You need more than a 2-point lead, though. And Chris Boucher going to the free throw line to shoot 2. 41-39, 3 minutes left in the second quarter. Oh, Lord 2 Senpai saying DeMar versus Kyle, Eastern Conference Final. That would be cool. That would be really cool. And I'm not going to lie, in that situation, I might be cheering for the Bulls. I've never been a huge fan of the Miami Heat. I do love Kyle Lowry, and I love his fit on that team. But I'm not a big Jimmy guy. I really don't like Jimmy Butler as much as I respect his game. Something about him throws me off. He was kind of torching us in the playoffs too when we were trying to get past the Sixers, and he's always kind of like I get it, Jimmy's different, right? Like, you got to have thick skin to play with him. And I think he's in a better place now. But, oh, Scotty Barnes running the floor. Getting the huge dunk, man. The Flames are coming on for that, chat. I know you're hyped right now. What a play for Scotty Barnes. We got almost 80 live viewers right now. So if you guys are watching this, drop a like spike for the kid, man. It is always, always appreciated. And Tom Moreau saying the Miami Heat are my arch nemesis. And I got to say, I think what upsets me is Miami Heat tries to brand themselves around the way the Raptors have been. Like, you always hear Heat culture, defense first, build guys up. It's like, hold on. Pretty much all of Miami's success, with the exception of drafting D Wade, has come through free agency. LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Jimmy Butler, sign and trade for Kyle Lowry. I get there's stories like Bam and then Tyler and even Duncan too. But if you look at the Raptors winning a championship without a single lottery pick, and then there's other teams like the Miami Heat, who I get it, it's sexier because it's a hot location and there's beaches and, LeBron played there. I get it. Like, it's an A-list location with great basketball community. I get that too. But the Raptors really are that team. Like, when I hear Heat culture, I'm like, cool. Like, the Raptors have what you think you have. Maybe that's me being salty. Maybe it is. We've beaten the Heat in playoffs before, though, so it's not like I hold that big of a grudge against the Miami Heat. I just don't like them, and it's a shame that I need to see Kyle Lowry put on a Heat jersey, but I do need to compliment what he's done for their team. But I'm cheering for DeMar DeRozan to get into the NBA Finals if those two wind up facing off in the ECF. Seeing Debo get to the NBA Finals would be cool. I don't think the Bulls could ever win an NBA Finals the way they're built right now, and I'm sure some people will contest that. But it would be nice to see him get there at least. Everyone here has love for DeRozan. Come on now. Scotty Barnes sets the pick for Van Vliet. Van Vliet, the deep three. Oh, that almost went. We got to bet on that too. That one hurts. That was close for Fred. Just missing the three there. Derrick Rose drives, and it's picked off by Gary Trent. Good defense by the Raptors. Takes it to the rim. Gets the lay-in over Obi Toppin. Good job by Gary Trent going coast to coast, defense to offense. Love what I'm seeing. Flames are on again. Tom Moreau saying Heat fans are as obnoxious as Raptors fans. LOL. That is true. Like, I understand what I'm saying is super pretentious and just kind of like, I don't sound grateful. I sound like a boastful, spiteful guy when I'm talking about, oh, we have what they wish they had. And me. I get that. But it aggravates me that anytime there's like trade rumors about anybody, I see them immediately photoshopped into a Miami Heat jersey. I have seen every player in this league photoshopped into a Miami Heat jersey on Twitter. I'm just tired of it. They get so many things handed to them, and then they want to act like Heat culture, like we built this. It's like, no, free agency and the Miami clubs and beaches built this. Okay, I'm going to stop ranting right now. I'm getting way too angry over this. Wraps up 46-42 right now. There's 1 minute, 16 seconds left until halftime. If you guys are watching this right now, there's 80 or 72 live viewers. Drop a like. I appreciate you guys big time. I do have to say, though, that the Heat have nice jerseys. If you ever go to a music festival, especially like an EDM festival, Everywhere you look, D-Wade jersey, D-Wade jersey, D-Wade jersey. Always the Miami Vice color wave, which I gotta say is clean. And I forgot to mention this. I actually have a Tyler Hero Heat jersey, but that's because I was a big time Hero fan when he was in college. Or not college, before he was in college, in high school, playing in Wisconsin. I've been on Tyler Hero since day one, it seems like. So when he got drafted into the league, I had to pick up a Heat jersey. And he's looking like he's going to end up being the sixth man of the year. So shouts out to Tyler Hero. I respect him in this game a lot. Susie agreeing that the Heat City jerseys are really nice. Tom Duke saying, "You are a funny man, J-Dog." Appreciate you, Tom Duke. I say some funny stuff when I'm rambling on here, but get me talking about the Miami Heat and I get angry. D Rose with the ball right now. Passes it to Quickly. Dribbles around, tries to pace things out a little bit. Randall down to D Rose. Oh man, the Knicks look just jumbled on offense. And then Quickly missing the three. He ends up with a pretty open shot, but the Knicks offense looking like it's going through the blender right now. I mean, music to my ears, but Fred VanVleet with the ball. There's 40 seconds left in the half. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Gets the pick from Siakam. Siakam in the mid-range. Almost got the shooter's roll, but he misses that. So the Raptors will get the last shot. There's about a 5-second difference. Game clock, shot clock. Derrick Rose with it right now for the Knicks. Dano saying Tyler Hero is a 0. Double R's on the 0. I see what you did there. Ty Cornfield saying Tyler Hero. Jokes, LOL. I love Tyler Hero. I won't lie. Miami is a city. Oh, nice. Scotty Barnes with the rebound. The outlet pass up the court. Fred VanVleet finding Siakam, who gets the flush there with 0.5 seconds left in the quarter. Raps are up by 8 going into half. Good stuff. It's a game of runs. New York has their run. But I'm going to put on the fire because you end that half hot there if you're the Toronto Raptors. Exactly what you want to see. And then Scotty Barnes picking up another rebound. What does he have reverse right now? He's got 5 rebounds. So at some point in the second half, I need him to get a combined 6 rebounds and assists. That can be a lot of one, a little bit of both. Pretty doable for Scotty Barnes right now. And then for points, Barnes has 6 points. It's a shame to see Evan Mobley ahead of him in the rookie ranks. I do somewhat understand it because Evan Mobley's playing defense at a crazy level right now, just blocking everybody. He had a 5-block game the other day, which was the first time a rookie's done it for Cleveland since LeBron James. Evan Mobley's a special talent, but my guy Scotty, he's got a lockdown rookie of the year. He really, really does. And this is a weird thing. Like, I don't know how many people are going to agree with this, but sometimes there's like a name that sticks out with me, and I'm not trying to talk on some sort of divine vibe here where I knew that Scotty Barnes was going to be this guy. But when I heard about this dude in the draft who are like, oh, he's moving up the stock quickly. Like, people want to start thinking about him as a potential top 5 guy now. And they're saying the name Scotty Barnes, who I didn't know too well in college. Yes, I saw him play, and I had somewhat of an opinion on him. But he came off the bench for a pretty good team, and just, off the bench, I think he averaged like 12 points or something. Like, nothing really blew you away. You could tell he was a freak athlete. But something about the fact that he was getting so hyped up past his numbers, I was like, hey, this kid might be special. And then his name, Scotty Barnes. I don't know what it just hit different. Maybe I'm completely crazy and I'm just like, reverse engineering this successful season he's had and acting like I could hear it coming. But when I heard his name and then heard the rep he had, my mind just kind of went with it. And I was like, maybe this guy will end up being really, really good because people are talking about his upside. And I don't know, the name Scotty is like kind of unique on a prospect these days. Not many kids named Scotty. I don't know. He just stood out to me. I can't explain it, guys. Maybe I should just say I love Scotty Barnes. He's going to be the future of this team for sure. And shouts out the 70 people who are in here with us right now. If you're watching, drop a like spike, guys. You are the best. It was really good to see the Raptors have an answer for that run. They didn't let the momentum build too far in the opposing direction. Going into halftime with an 8-point lead. This is nice. What are you guys saying right now for the Raptors' expectations on the season? Do we want to see the Raptors make the play-in game? I think that is still possible. Like, where is the roof on this team right now? What's the best potential finish we could have to this season? I like to say 6th seed even feels like a big stretch at this point. With a healthy OG Anunoby and Khem Birch, though, it does help your team a lot. I'm not saying that it brings you from like potential lottery to contending. I don't think that at all. But 6th seed, you get those guys back and they're still playing really well. Maybe even elevate a little bit more. There's an argument for it. Or you improve at the trade deadline too. Who knows what Masai's got up his sleeve, but I'm definitely give my benefit of the doubt to Bobby and Masai. They have earned it at this point. Mystery saying Banton needs to attack the paint more. He has looked a little bit, I guess, cautious on offense recently. He hasn't been slashing as much. Like, I love that Banton moved a lot off ball, and I haven't seen that same kind of drive from him in the offensive end. Still a lot of things to like about Delano Banton, and not so long ago he led our team in assists in a win. Who was it that we beat? I think it was the Bucks. I think it was the Bucks game where he had 6 assists. Him and Chris Boucher were playing pretty good. There has been nice things for him as of recent, but tonight I agree. He's struggling. And I've never been like blown away by Delano Banton. I do see a lot of upside there. He reminds me so much of Sean Livingston. But yeah, right now he's got to figure it out a bit more for this Raptors team. We got such a young bench. It's tough to count on them to come in and energize us every night. But things are looking like they're getting a bit better. And Yuta Watanabe's helped out a fair bit. And shouts out, I'm going to play the super chat animation right now for Adventures with Smiles. Welcome to the elite tier membership on the channel. Adventures with Smiles, happy to have you here. Big time shouts out for joining the channel membership program. We appreciate it. And there's a lot of fun stuff going on right now with the brand. So big shouts out for that. And shouts out the 66 live viewers we got at the moment. Tom Moreau saying, okay, this is an interesting take. Enough projects on the go. Okay to trade some picks now. I think so too. I know this is like a very brief rebuild, retool, whatever you want to call it, but in my opinion, we have the guys that we want on the team right now. Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes. I'm cool to build around them. And I kind of weasel Fred VanVleet into that list a little bit sometimes too. But those guys I'm cool going forward with. So at this point, yeah, make some trades to help find that 5 who will help you a bit more, because it's pretty apparent that we need a 7-footer who's serviceable. Or at least, Precious is too young right now to be at his maximum output for this Raptors group. There's some things we could do to get wins right now, and trading away some picks to get pieces, I think, is part of that. But we are in a weird sort of stage where it's like, we know we're good, but until we start proving it, it's going to be hard to justify not going in that rebuild direction. Having some good health on the team would be nice too, but it is what it is. Hopefully OG Anunoby is back soon, but the Raptors have been so tight-lipped about what they're saying in terms of his injury. We know it's an a hip injury, but we don't know much other than that. I think it's Precious Achiuwa who's actually out with the abdomen injury. And my laptop's about to die. I'm going to grab my cord. Apologies for that. And we back. Tom Duke saying, go Raptors Digest. Love the support, man. Drop a like, Spike, if you guys are watching. We got 72 live viewers at the moment. Shouts out, Tom. So Adventures with Smiles saying, this team needs to get into the 4 to 8 spot in the playoffs. Be competitive. If not, VanVleet, etc. needs to be gone. Interesting take. You see, not that I 100% agree, but I do love to see people who are like, nah, I want to see winning basketball. That's great, because if we tank, it happens naturally. Whatever. The expectation should always be to win. And I know that's what Masai says his expectation always is. And sometimes I get a little suspect when I'm looking at the injuries. Like, are you really trying to win right now? Is everybody this injured for this long? I'd assume it's the truth. But I love to see that fans are still pushing for winning basketball right now. I don't know about, as high as the 4 seed. That would be really good. I kind of said that the best this team could do is the 6 seed. And that would be really cool. Even right now, you had a little bit of a rough start to the season. You could be a really strong 6 seed coming into it, and won't need to play for a playoff spot. Like, you'll be safe from the play-in tournament, guaranteed first round matchup. That would be good. That would be good. And maybe you buzz from there. Who knows? But that's the best I think this team can do at the moment, in my opinion. I've been asking, though. Let me know what you guys think. I think I might have missed some of the feedback here. I got a bad habit of asking questions and then going off on a tangent to something else and forgetting to read all the answers. But for your expectations, where's the ceiling on this team this season? And Mark Lee saying 6 to 8 seed, knocked out of the first round of playoffs. Okay, but then Arnov saying win 1 playoff series. That would be really nice. And remember, what season was it? I want to say maybe like 13-4. It was the year that we traded away Rudy Gay, and we got back like Chuck Hayes, John Solomons, Gravis Vasquez, and I want to say like one other player. And I think Tyler Hansborough was on the team at that point too. Either way, that was like Masai's first huge trade that ended up turning, it was, you flip a good player into a bunch of supporting assets, and we saw the effect it had on our team, right? We rumbled right to the first round, and I believe that was the season where we ended up being eliminated in 7 games by Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, who were playing for the Brooklyn Nets at that point. Joe Johnson was on that team, D. Will. I mean, they had a good team, and we took them to 7 games, essentially our first trip to the playoffs with a really young group. So that's a great example in our history before where it's like, you had a team that had a losing record significantly, and you traded away one big piece for a bunch of little pieces, and maybe it wouldn't go exactly like that, but the moral of the story here is things can change quickly, especially around trade deadline. If we're looking better on paper then, maybe we just roll. So, interesting to discuss the different ceilings that people see for this team. Ty Cornfield saying if we capitalize on Turner, we need to make the playoffs. I like that take. I don't normally do this, but I'm turning on the flames for that take. If we get Miles Turner, it's playoffs or bust, guys. That's the memo. Mystery saying it's hard to tell how good we are because we have never been healthy. That's true. I was just mentioning that myself. It's really annoying to get an actual measuring stick of, okay, are we mad about tanking? Are we cool with it? Because we can never really tell what the team's fully performing like at its best. Everyone's taking turns being out. Even in the beginning of the season, when you were 6-3 at one point, there was no Pascal Siakam. It's kind of like, it's crazy that we haven't seen a fully healthy Raptors roster play like 20 games in so long. Probably since, I guess we were still pretty healthy throughout that 2020 season that ended up getting called short where we went to the bubble. We had decent health, but since then, the past 2 seasons they've been riddled with injuries, and I feel like that's partially why the Raptors have been so quiet about recovery, because, they don't feel like, it's not a night-to-night basis where we're absolutely fighting for each win for playoff seeding. I think the Raptors are like, okay, if we keep guys out for a little longer to be cautious and we pick up a few more wins, or a few more losses, I suppose, then whatever. Like, we'll just rest our guys and, take the advantages that come with that in terms of maybe getting better through the draft. I don't love to think that way. I'd rather see winning basketball, but it definitely seems like the Raptors have given themselves like a blank check for keeping guys out of the lineup. Just trying to build for the future, I guess. And I'm not trying to say these guys aren't injured, but I've had questions at times about how long the past 2 seasons the Raptors have kept guys on the bench and whether or not they were really hurt. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist, but Saru spamming the chat right now asking what's good. Saru, just hanging out watching the Raps. We're up by 8 right now at halftime, so that's what's good at the moment. Happy to see you in the chat. The one in the chat saying, should we trade for Turner or should we use a lottery pick to get a center? That way both Scotty, Banton, and the center would be ready around the same time. But then again, how good are the Raps now? That is the question. and it's tough to tell without them playing all together. I feel like as much as you're going to build around primarily Scotty Barnes, and I like Banton, but I wouldn't even like force him into that picture there. He probably will stick around as our bench point guard, but like I'm not attached to Banton where I could see him, where I could guarantee him being on the team in 3 years. Guys that I could guarantee being on the team in 3 years are Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, and optimistically, I think Gary Trent Jr., but it's very clear who we're going to build around. So at this point, yeah, I'd rather just not get lottery picks at this point. If you get it naturally, then great. But I feel like you don't need a lottery pick to pick up a center that would help out this team. I'm trying to remember. There's been some trades recently that we've looked at and we're like, oh my God, Masai, like we could have totally parted for similar assets, even maybe giving up a bit more to get this player, and we didn't. I think Drummond was a situation like that. I don't know. I don't think we need to start shopping around a lottery pick to get our answer at the 5 spot. We should be good to find one without doing that. But if we end up with a lottery pick, you don't say no. But I'm just kind of going in circles here. Poino Kitty asking, yeah, so question, is Turner or Sabonis worth giving up picks? I think Sabonis is the better player, but I think you can get really, really smart value at a Turner for probably a bit less. I would say definitely a bit less. Like Sabonis is kind of a beast on the stat sheet. Like statistically, he's kind of a top 20 player. I don't know about right now, but in recent past, if you look at just the stats, just strictly how many points are scored, efficiency, assists, rebounds, Sabonis is like right up there. He even won the skills competition, I believe, at the All-Star weekend. Not that that means too much, but he can hang. He can hang with all-stars. He is an all-star. Whereas Turner, I think, is like more of a defensive specialist who's a pretty capable offensive player too. He'll be cheaper, and he's exactly, like to a T, exactly what we need. Only 26 years old too, a lot of time to build around him. And here we are, guys. The second half is kicking right back off. And if you guys are watching right now, drop a like. Raptors are up by 8, starting off the second half. This is a good place to be in. Let's hope the third quarter is survivable, unlike it was during OKC. Burks with the ball, shoots the 3, misses. But then the Knicks track down the rebound, give it back to Burks, who alley-oops it to Noel. I said Newell. The Knicks strike first here in the second half. It's 50-44. Apologies, guys. Just having a little bit of technical difficulties at the moment. Okay, so apologies for that. Having a bit of technical difficulties, but anyway, so it's 50-44 right now. Just under 11 minutes left here in the third quarter. As I said, pretty happy with the state the Raptors went into half with, but the Knicks strike first, flushing an alley-oop there is Noel. I still have bets that I need to hit. So Fred VanVleet over 3.5 three-pointers made in the match. He had 2 in the first half, had a couple that just spilled out. I'm pretty confident he can still get that done. And then Scotty Barnes, right now I believe he still only has 6 rebounds, is it? He's got 5 rebounds. So yeah, 6 either assists, rebounds, combination of the 2. That hits that part of the bet for me. So yeah, that's stay tuned for that, guys. And then if you have any bets of your own, let us know in the chat, because I'm definitely curious to hear about that. See, I still struggle with the technical side of these live streams sometimes. Ben's taught me a lot, but I don't know everything yet. I like to think that the quality's gotten better each time we've done this, but it's only going to keep going up, and I'm excited to show you guys some more things we got planned for the stream. RJ Barrett shoots the 3, thankfully misses there, and is rebounded by Boucher, and now Fred VanVleet takes it up the court for the Toronto Raptors. Pulls up from 3, just misses. That was such a good shot too. He's getting robbed right now. Gary to Scotty. Oh, Scotty thought about shooting it. I wish Scotty wanted that a bit more, but it's not really his fault. I know Nick Nurse is telling him to play a certain way, and then accidentally fouls Noel there. Gets him in the eye maybe with a hand. Completely coincidental, but that is a foul on Scotty Barnes. Hopefully he doesn't have too many personal fouls. I gotta double check. Fournier shoots the three, misses that, and it's rebounded by Barnes. I could have swore Barnes landed out of bounds there, but perfect. It's not blown dead. That's a rebound for Scotty, and that counts towards our bets. Shouts out the rookie. Fred VanVleet in the paint, finds Scotty, shoot that. That's kind of a brick, but it looked good coming out of his hands. His shooting mechanics are great compared to what people thought he was going to have like a broken jump shot. He's got like the opposite of that, but wow, Noel getting a tough and one on Scotty Barnes there. If he hits this free throw, the Knicks are only going to be down by 1 point. Foot on the gas here. It's the third quarter, Raptors. It is the third quarter. Keep your head in it. So shouts out the 75 people we have watching right now. It's always appreciated to have a ton of people tuning in. You guys are truly the best Raptors community we have on YouTube. All right, so that free throw was missed, thankfully, and we're only up by 2. The Raps need to cement this lead a little bit more. It's a long half that's left of basketball, but can't let the Knicks get too much energy going. Fred VanVleet with a pretty ugly pass there, turns it over. Julius Randle now has it. Randle going straight to the rim, misses, and then Noel there to get the putback. He's had a few points here to start off the second half. It's tied at 50 apiece. He might actually have like 6 points so far just in the second half. But Raps are tied up right now. Let's hope we can score on this possession. Another sloppy pass by Fred VanVleet, picked off, and then he's forced to foul Randle. Jeez. Not the best look for the Raptors right now. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to figure out some things right now with the stream settings, and I'm not fully familiar with all of it. So I've kind of been a little bit quiet these past few seconds just trying to figure everything out. But I'm going to leave this for now. Hope everything sorts itself out on its own. But definitely shout out the 80 people who are in here right now. I say it all the time, guys, but I always mean it. You're the best, and if you're watching right now, drop a like spike. And Fred VanVleet, I believe, getting a bucket there for the Raptors. Timeout called by, I'm not sure what bench, but we have a stoppage of play. The Raps are up by 2 points right now with eight something left to go in the third quarter. It's been a bit of a mixed emotion game here. You get leads, and then the Knicks come and cut right back into it. But the Raptors do look locked in around the idea of walking away with a W tonight. You could tell after the OKC game, there was some sound bites that came out in the post game. I think Fred VanVleet expressing some discontent for the team, saying, we play good, then we take our foot off the gas, get screamed at, play good, forget what it feels like to have the coach mad at us. He screams at us again. He's just talking about the cyclical quality of play. You go from great to just absolutely like an abandoned presence in a game. Like that third quarter against OKC. I know that it was more than just the third quarter, but that was really the turning point of all the momentum. You had to surmount like a 20-point deficit after that. Or not, they beat us by 20 points. I think 21 to be exact in the third quarter. So imagine where that leaves your team. You only have one more quarter to deal with it too. And although the Raptors did take care of the fourth, they ended up winning. You lose by 1 point. Heartbreaking stuff, but I'm sure the Raptors will be pushing to get a W tonight. So I'm just reading through the chat right now. Dano saying FVV, too many turnovers. He's been sloppy tonight a little bit with the ball. At least those past couple possessions he was. So right now, Fred VanVleet has 2 turnovers and 2 personal fouls. He does have 3 steals and a block at the moment, though. So Fred VanVleet playing some good defense for the Raptors. He's got 9 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists. That's impressive for Fred there. And then the other scorers on the box score that are notable at the moment for the Raptors: 12 points for Gary Trent Jr. on 5 of 8 shooting, and he's 2 of 3 from 3-point range with 3 steals as well. Gary Trent Jr. packing the box score again, or at least with defensive stats. He's got 0 rebounds and 0 assists, but he's a bucket. He's playing hard defense. And then Scotty Barnes, 6 points, 8 rebounds. He doesn't have any assists for me yet, but 3 more either rebounds, assists, some combination of the two, and then we hit that part of the bet. Hoping that can happen. Definitely seems reasonable, right? And then 10 and 6 for Boucher. Not bad. He's 3 of 7 on the shots, but he's hit a 3 tonight. Looked a bit energized. Of course, he's getting the start with Kem Birch and Precious out. And then Siakam, he's got 11, 9, and 2. Shooting 3 of 14. Dear God. Oh. See, I was defending Pascal a little bit earlier, as we talked about, but not the most efficient game. He's fighting his way to at least 20 points in most of the past performances for the Raptors, but tonight, not exactly efficient for Pascal. Randall in the mid-range, misses the J. Fred VanVleet there to rebound it. It's 52-50, 7:40 left in the third quarter, wraps up. Gary Trent Jr. hits the 3, man, point number 15. He's heating up. I think that's his 3rd 3-pointer. Shouts out to Gary. He's breaking out of that rut right now. Hopefully he can have a big second half. That'd be nice to see him put up like 15 to 20 second half points. It's going to be a long second half versus Knicks team. I know they won't just go away. And then Scotty Barnes with, I think that's a rebound, even though it was batted by Chris Boucher. And then Boucher, little floater in the lane. I don't think that'll count as an assist for Scotty Barnes, but at least getting another rebound for me there. Shouts out Scotty. And then Chris Boucher, the Canadian, finishing on the interior. Make that a 7-0 scoring run for the Raptors right now, who I was begging to get this lead back a little bit. They have answered. And then right on cue, Fournier knocking down a 3. I got to say, I've always really liked Evan Fournier's game. He's a reliable shooter and brings energy on defense. I don't know about if you could say, like, there he is getting a deflection, but Raptors hold on to the ball. Chris Boucher, another mid-range shot. Okay, man. And you know what? I'm going to put on the new, where is it? The new milk animation. Because Chris Boucher, that boy drinks bagged milk because he's from Canada. We've got a whole bunch of animations going on right now. But Chris Boucher, 4 straight points. Looking pretty nice in the starting lineup at the moment, filling that void. And then Pascal Siakam acting like he didn't just foul RJ Barrett. You laid a hockey hit there. Yeah, RJ Barrett's going to be going to the line to shoot too. Tom Duke coming in saying Barnes is awesome and Boucher won't let us lose this. I like that. It's been a while since I felt like Boucher is dictating the pace of the game. But last year he had those moments where I'm like, Boucher looks like, if this was just someone who had never seen an NBA game before, they would think like Chris Boucher's an Anthony Davis level player with the amount of shots he's blocking, the threes he's hitting, the energy he's playing with. That Chris Boucher from last year that I was just hyping up, we haven't seen him in a while. But right now, he looks a little bit reinvigorated, being in the starting lineup, and finally finding a little bit of a spark. He's in a contract year, man. You know he wants to be playing well too. Tom Duke saying bonjour. Shouts out the Quebec mans. VanVleet to Gary Trent. Pump fakes. Shoots the 3. And then Chris Boucher with a big offensive rebound. Tries to put it back. He wants a foul, but he misses. And then Fournier going the other way. That's blocked by Pascal, but following it up is Randall getting the basket. 59-57. It's a close game right now. The Knicks are doing a really good job of crashing the glass. They know the Raptors don't have they're already a little bit undersized when it comes to the 5 spot, but then missing 2 of their starting 5s or guys that you would put ahead of Boucher. They're exploiting that crash in the glass, but then Chris in the mid-range misses. He's been hot. I don't even mean to come down on Chris Boucher like that. He's playing great right now in the absence of our other 5s. And then RJ Barrett missing an open 3. Tracks down the rebound though. Burks to Randall. Back to Burks. Pulls up. Misses that and falls in the hands of Scotty Barnes. I got to put on my money emoji. Bring me my money. Scotty Barnes picking up another rebound there. I think he only needs like an assist or one more rebound to get my bet. And then, speaking of that, it's already raining. Fred VanVleet knocking down a three. We're going to put on the Flames too with that. Freddie V knocking down the three. I think he only needs one more three-pointer to hit that part of the bet, but the bets are looking good. The Raptors are up 62-57. Feel the momentum building right now, guys. And then Siakam, good defensive play. I agree with Pascal there. That wasn't a foul. Yeah, I thought he played that perfectly. As Jack Armstrong's saying on the commentary or the broadcast right now, that was played perfectly by Pascal. Does a good job of guarding Julius Randle right underneath the basket, but gets called for some sort of foul. Randle, I believe, is shooting too. Nika making a rookie mistake in the chat saying, Googled Fournier, clicked the wiki, and now I regret it. It's a rookie mistake. Must have not seen his tweet when he signed with Boston. And Tom Moreau saying, talking about when we were discussing Boucher as, if you were to see him out of context, first NBA game ever, last year the way he was playing, you'd think he's an all-star. Tom Moreau saying they would definitely say, who's that skinny guy? And you can't forget, Tom, they would also mention, who's that skinny guy who catapults his three-point shots? He's a spectacle to watch, right? Because he's just like, he's built like KD, and he shoots the ball like he's been playing basketball for 2 years. But he's so confident, hustles so hard on defense. Occasionally you get these crazy performances out of Chris. Everyone here in Toronto definitely has love for Boucher, even though he's taken some criticism this season. I know him and Delano Banton have a pretty good friendship on the team. And shouts out the Canadian Connection. They were playing pretty good the other night. I think it was in the Bucks game. Could be mistaken, but they played pretty good. Got something going for us off the bench, where, as I've been explaining, has been a struggle point for us at different points this year. Fred VanVleet carries it over half, hands it off. It ends up in Yuta Watanabe's hands. Back to Fred VanVleet to Siakam. Takes the mid-range. Misses it. He's having a very inefficient night. It's tough because he does get the 21 points, but the amount of shots he's taken and the amount of personal fouls and turnovers he's racking up. See, guys, I've been good. I've stayed away from the Pascal slander for the most part, but it's you got to ask yourself at some point, is it hurting you or helping you more? I got to give him his credit. He's getting to 20 a lot. Fred, deep three, he misses that. But there's Chris Boucher to get the rebound. Siakam jacks up the three, misses, and it's rebounded there by Robinson. And shouts out the 80 people who are tuning in right now. Drop a like if you guys are in the chat. It's much appreciated. And the Raptors are up by 1 point right now, but Boucher picking up a foul on defense. I can't tell if this is a shooting foul. I was looking at the chat. It appears as though it is. RJ Barrett, the Canadian, will be shooting too. Tom Moreau describing Boucher as one of those advertising arm waving thingies. Don't they have a name for those? In Family Guy, they had a skit about it. Inflatable, what is it? Give me a second here. Inflatable flailing tube man? Was that it? Inflatable flailing tube man. I can't remember. Someone in the chat definitely knows what I'm talking about. Give me the Family Guy correction here. Tom Moreau also saying Pascal is having a bad shooting game. Everything else looks fine. Paul Blunt saying Siakam missed. Criticize away. Oh, and then Svi Mikhailuk, you got to hit that. And he does. Svi Mikhailuk, you need to get your buckets like that. He's a shooter off the bench. You got one job. Got to get buckets, and he gets a nice one there for the Raps. We're up by 2. RJ Barrett in the paint. Scotty Barnes almost deflects it, but Turner. My bad. That's Fournier who misses the 3 for the Knicks, and the Raptors are coming back the other way. Under the basket, Scotty, shoot that. I want him to shoot the ball so much more often. I'm starting to agree with everybody who's been calling for the offense to go through Scotty. Okay, Scotty. Oh, man, you can do that. And then Fred VanVleet turns it over, gets the ball stolen away by Fournier, and then a very fortunate bounce. Fournier tries to pass it up to RJ Barrett, who's not looking, hits off of Barrett out of bounds. It's going to be Raptors ball, and we have a stoppage of play. So the team's going back to their respective benches. Shouts out the 90 live viewers we got right now. Guys, stick around a hot minute here. This Raptors second half has been a close game the whole way. It'll be right down to the wire. Don't want to miss this. So right now, Chris Boucher, 14-8. He's playing good. 5 of 11. He's had a three-pointer tonight. A little bit of the Chris Boucher of old. No defensive stats, but, filling in as a starter tonight, he's looking pretty nice. Barnes with 6, 11, and 2. So I'm going to make it rain really quick, actually, guys. I have not celebrated this enough openly. You can see I have the Scotty Barnes over 10.5 combined assists and rebounds. Well, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. If my math is correct, I have hit on that one. I'm going to turn on the flames with it. Scotty Barnes getting me that part of the bet. And then Fred VanVleet, I think he has 3 3-pointers. Maybe I hit that one too, actually. He's 3 of 7. So one more Fred VanVleet 3-pointer. That'll do it. And also shout out Fred, man. 3 steals, 1 block. Not his finest offensive game, but 9 assists, 12 points, 3 rebounds. I mean, he's out there. He's having an okay game. Chipping in a variety of ways, but only with 12. And then Gary Trent Jr., 15 points. He's had some nice moments in this game. He's finally got one other stat. He's got an assist. He does have 3 steals, though, on defense. And then he's 6 of 10 shooting, 3 of 5 from three-point range. So Gary Trent Jr., he's a bucket. Been saying this. He's a cold shooter, and I mean that in a good way. Gary Trent Jr. leading the Raptors right now in scoring. And then Siakam with potentially the world's most inefficient 11 points at 3 for 16, 0 of 3 from three-point range. He has a block. Give him some credit there. But, he has 9 rebounds and 2 assists as well. So second in the rebound category on the Raptors right now, right behind Scotty Barnes, who has a monster 11 boards. Shouts out to Scotty for hitting the bet. I'm going to make it rain one more time here. But yeah, not to rag on Pascal too much. It has been a kind of ugly effort at times. Paul Blunt saying Joshy Ice hitting his bets hard. You already know Paul Blunt. I always put them out on Twitter beforehand. If I don't post a YouTube short, go check it out, guys. I place all my bets through Bet365. There's no sponsorship here at all. I'm not plugging it for no reason. It's just the app that I use. Or I guess I'm not plugging it for money. It's just the betting app that I use. So check that out if you guys want to use the same game parlay feature, which is a lot of fun. You can get these crazy multiplied odds because you can bet so many different performances in one bet. Check it out. But we resume play here. 65-63 is the current score in favor of Toronto. Fred VanVleet's got the ball. Guarded by D Rose. What if D Rose never got hurt? One of the crazy questions in basketball. Scotty Barnes has it on the baseline. Throws it out to Svi Mikhailuk, who takes it in and gets a lay-in. Good job there. Could have settled for a jump shot, but saw he had some space. Takes it hard to the bucket and gets an easy 2 for the Raptors. Up by 4 at the moment. Yuta Watanabe, he's gotten some nice playing time tonight. Playing good defense. He's covering Rose. Rose gets the push shot over him, but pretty solid defense. I jinxed Yuta there by saying he was playing good D. Minute 30 left in the third quarter. Fred VanVleet. Oh, that's... Okay, I'm surprised. Okay, Fred VanVleet will be shooting too, but I'll say, just unbiased, I am surprised that new rule didn't come into effect because it did look like he was trying to... Yeah, he baited the defender into jumping, Obi Toppin, and then instead of going around, he went right back up into Obi's body. So I know that they've been hard on that, but Fred VanVleet, I might be misunderstanding the way they're officiating that rule now, but Fred VanVleet, either way, getting a call, hits his first free throw. He's got one more with a chance to put the Raptors up by 4. And if you guys are watching this right now, I say it only about every 5 minutes. Drop a like spike in the chat, guys. I abuse this animation. Shouts out to everybody who's tuning in right now. It's much appreciated. Derrick Rose passes it over to the Canadian RJ Barrett, who's guarded by VanVleet. Oh, Champagny making a nice defensive play. It stays with the Knicks, though. Quickly. Misses the three. And then the spring pass up the floor to Svi Mikhailuk. Misses the contested layup in transition. Going the other way for the Knicks. RJ Barrett has it. Guarded by Barnes. Lock him up, Scotty. Lock him up. Great defense there by Scotty. Doesn't foul. And then a big block and the rebound. Let's go. Defense to offense. Give it to me. Okay, there's a term in hockey here. They say you get too horned up offensively. Scotty Barnes, he knows what he just did on defense. Gets a key rebound off of two consecutive block shots. You know he was thinking, whole way, I got to go dunk this thing. Complete the sequence. Ends up charging right through Derrick Rose, who makes a smart decision. He can sense the rookie's horned up for a bucket. Takes the charge instead, and it goes back Knicks ball. RJ shoots it. Misses the three, and then Van Vliet's there to get the rebound. Almost gets his pocket picked by Obi Toppin, but Raptors make a safe entry into the offensive zone here. I gotta say, Obi Toppin's developed nicely for the Knicks. I'll talk about that a little bit at the intermission because 5 seconds left in the third quarter. Champagny sets the pick. That was kind of a weak pick. Fred Van Vliet misses the three. I still need him to hit one more three-pointer. You're leading, though. I'm not going to complain. Pretty good quarter of basketball. It was scary at times there. I still think you end up losing the third quarter here, which is kind of bogus. Whatever. You lost by a very small fraction compared to the other night when you lost by 20 points in the third quarter. I'll take this improvement. Raps are still up. Fourth quarter, you got to take care of business, but I've had the sense all game that after what we just did against OKC, the Raptors do want to come out and lock down a W. I know Fred Van Vliet is, he's cracking the whip on the younger players on the team, saying we got to get going here. Like, come on now. That was a gimme of a game. We had our lead. There was no reason to blow that. Let's take care of business versus the Knicks. Or at least that's what I imagine he's saying right now because he's been outspoken with his frustrations. 87 live viewers, so shouts out everybody who's tuning in at the moment. Paul Blunt saying Svi's layup looked like a wreck on the 401. Yeah, he's it was contested. As Svi's come in and played decent. How many points does Svi Mikhailuk have? So he's got 5 points, 2 of 6 shooting, 1 of 3 from the 3-point arc. No defensive stats. It's like kind of underwhelming. But Svi Mikhailuk with an ugly layup there, or attempt at a layup. And then Magnetic Knowledge in the chat. He's calling for another like spike. You guys heard the man. Appreciate everybody watching. And he's also saying no Pascal trade. He's defending Pascal. Doesn't want him leaving Toronto. Matty Maru is welcoming the Pascal slander at the moment. But what I was saying about Obi Toppin, ends up going 8th overall in the 2020 draft to the Knicks. He is from New York. I think he won the Naismith Player of the Year award in college as a 4-year guy for, was it the Flyers? They are, what's the name of that school again? Oh, it's on the tip of my Dayton Flyers. So he played for Dayton, was really good. I mean, crazy dunks, but he came in his rookie season and New Yorkers were like, oh my God, like the James Dolan Knicks screwed up again. Like this guy is not a top 10 pick. But I got to credit Obi Toppin, who has been really determined to make his impact felt as an energy rotation guy. He's done that for the Knicks. And even though the Knicks have had a bit of a regressing season, I would say Obi Toppin's look better. So that's a bright spot for Knicks fans. And RJ Barrett continues to improve. Shouts out the Canadian. But here we are. Fourth quarter basketball. 69-65 is the score. And we have a Malachi Flynn sighting. Gary Trent Jr. shoots the three. Gets the bounce and the bucket to go. Starting off the fourth quarter hot. That's what we need, guys. 72-65. Gary Trent Jr. hitting his 4th three-pointer of the game. I need Fred Van Vliet to go get his 4th three-pointer to hit my bet. And Shayar saying, Josh, the Pacers won. Oh, man. They're creeping up. They're having a good run of their own right now. What's What's their record at the moment? If you guys know what the Pacers' record is, let me know. I could find it pretty quickly on my phone, but just put it in the chat so everybody can see it. They're figuring it out. I know they had injuries for a while too, but you got to give the Pacers full credit. They got a good roster. Shayar also pointing out that Siakam's got an 18% field goal percentage at the moment. Yeesh. Obi Toppin flies in. Okay, so that was a travel. What just happened? I think I missed the hype defensive play. That sucks. I always love the hype defense. Oh! Big block by Svi Mikhailuk on Robinson. That's like 6'7", meeting 7 feet at the rim. Svi Mikhailuk rejecting the big man. That's a hype play. And then Gary Trent Jr. just missing the mid-range. That hardly spills out. Bucket does not count. And here comes Derrick Rose for the Knicks. He's guarded by Malachi. Malachi gets around the pick. And then D-Rose misses the floater, but Obi Toppin there to flush the rebound, which the Raptors were trying to call us in the cylinder. I thought that might have been in the cylinder too, but refs do not blow the whistle. Play continues. Bucket stands right now for the Knicks. And Malachi tries to go to the rim, but misses the layup too high off the glass. Quickly, he's got the ball covered by Mikhailuk. And then an offensive foul. All right, Svi has Robinson's number right now. Robinson bumping Svi on the pick, so the moving pick gets waved down, and the Raptors get the ball back. Just seeing the chat right now reacting to that Svi Mikhailuk block. That was hype. Shouts out to Svi for making a big defensive play there for the Raps in a very essential fourth quarter. This has been a close game all the way through. Malachi Flynn finds Yuta Watanabe open, and Yuta misses that shot. That three-pointer it is, he misses. 72-67, Raps leading by 5. Burks is covered right now by Malachi Flynn. And fouls Burks. Burks misses the and one shot, thankfully, but he'll be shooting 2 at the line. Malachi Flynn being a little undersized there. People have always justified him being on the bench recently by saying, we have Fred VanVleet in the lineup. If you try to play him and Malachi, after a while, that lack of size might catch up to you. And Burks exploiting Malachi's shorter height there, going to the line. Ty Cornfield reacting, saying, wow, can't believe Svi blocked that. Tom Duke saying, Svi, yeah, buddy. Sounded like a Canadian. Everyone in Canada says, yeah, buddy. Everybody. And then Film Study with Jeremy comes in saying, go Knicks. Got a few Knicks fans in the chat right now. It's been a close game. Up by 4 right now. And then Obi Toppin getting called for the offensive foul. I believe he's getting called for a push-off there on Yuta Watanabe. He's not happy. Tom Thibodeau's not happy, but I'm pleased. Raptors back on offense right now. Let's keep building on this lead. Gary Trent Jr.'s got the ball. He's talking to Scotty Barnes. Let's see what they got up their sleeve. Scotty Barnes directing the offense a little bit. Sets the pick for Malachi. We got to set harder picks. No one really actually commits to the picks on the Raptors. Gary Trent misses the mid-range, but there's Scotty Barnes to pick up another rebound. Actually, never mind. It's blown down before because I believe Gary Trent Jr. is fouled by a Knick. Magnetic Knowledge saying, I love Flynn. I'm a big Malachi Flynn guy too, but I can only defend the man for so long. If he really wants to play on this team, he's got to go out there and show Nick Nurse. He hasn't quite done that yet, but I'm always rooting for Malachi Flynn. Yuta Watanabe misses the 3, and it's rebounded by Toppin. Toppin's size is surprising. I didn't realize he was going to be that big when he came into the NBA, but he's like a little bit taller than Scotty Barnes even. That shot's blocked by Barnes. And then a foul called on the Raptors. Robinson's going to be going to the line. I can't imagine Robinson's a great a great free throw shooter. But we'll see. I believe Malachi Flynn picking up that foul. Or at least it'll be credited to him. And if you guys are watching this right now, there's 90 of you. Drop a like spike. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And then Jeremy in the chat saying, poster him Toppin. It is funny seeing some Knicks fans coming in with their reactions right now. I don't know how I feel about this. But the Raptors still up. I'll remind Jeremy of that real quick. Raptors still winning. Robinson at the line. I'm calling out his ability to shoot free throws. This guy looks way too clumsy to be good at it. But drills the second one. 70-72. The Knicks are only down by 1 bucket right now. And then Malachi Flynn gets fouled by Quickly. Pretty useless foul there, but Magnetic Knowledge saying Yuta needs to get something going. I agree. Yuta's been, he's done a good job of not hurting the Raptors because he always plays airtight defense. He doesn't foul a whole ton. And his shot selection is pretty good. And he doesn't turn over the ball a whole lot. So he doesn't really cost the Raptors a whole lot to have out there. And he has his moments, right, where he hits big shots. Or I don't want to say anything too clutch. Like, he's not an ice-cold guy. But if you give him an open look, Yuta Watanabe, I've noticed this season's been pretty good about hitting it. But right now, he's not having the best night. Seeing him get it going would be a treat. And then Malachi Flynn at the line misses the first free throw. Don't like that. We almost got 100 viewers in here right now. So shouts out Raptors Digest. Dropping another live. I'm abusing the like spike animation, guys. I need help with this. I'm just abusing that one. Derrick Rose taking the ball right back up for the Knicks at the moment. He's guarded by Malachi Flynn, who gets his second free throw. 3-point lead for the Raps. Passes it to Randall, who's guarded by Siakam. All right, come on, Siakam. Throws it to Toppin. Obi misses the 3, and it's rebounded by Svi Mikhailuk, who's had some defensive energy tonight. I love that. Pascal with the ball, passes it to Svi. Pump fakes, shoots. Good shot, but Svi Mikhailuk misses it. He hasn't had a very efficient night. Still just 5 points for Svi, I believe. Let me refresh that. Yeah, only 5 points for Svi. He's got 2 rebounds, a big block, but not being very efficient. Quickly, he's guarded by Siakam. I don't know if I would try to cook him. Oh, passes it to Obi Toppin. Knocks down the open 3-pointer. It's tough. The Raptors don't have that big paint protector, so I find on the perimeter we collapse a lot to try to help at the rim. And then it's just one skip pass out, and it's an open 3-pointer. That's what happened. That's what cost us the game versus OKC. Justin Champagnie, he cheated down to try and help guard SGA. What a tough shot. Gary Trent Jr. working the mid-range magic right now. That's a big bucket for Gary. Big bucket for the Raps. Puts us back up by 2 points right now. But Justin Champagnie, I was saying, cheated down to cover SGA. And that's when Mike Muscala hit that big 3-pointer, which put the Raptors down and ultimately really cost us the game. So Champagnie, definitely a hero in some senses in that game. But also costing us a little bit, collapsing when he doesn't need to. I feel like a 7-footer gives you more leeway to trust the interior protection. But right now, every Raptor is abandoning their perimeter assignment to help protect the rim. And it's costing us from 3. Obi Toppin hit that one a moment ago. But there is a stoppage in play. Timeouts called, I believe, by the Raptors. Either way, we're about to go to commercial break. And we're up by 2 points. So I'll consider this a pretty positive place to be in. It's been tight the whole way through. At points, it did feel like the Raptors could have pulled away with it. Well, when I say it's been tight the whole way through, I should mention we had a 20-point lead very early in the first quarter. But since that point, it's a game of runs. The Knicks have come back, and here we are in a tight ball game in the fourth quarter. Tom Duke saying, look at the lineup we have out there. What is going on? Typically, I'm always an advocate of playing Malachi Flynn, but he does not look in a very good rhythm at the moment. So the Knicks fan in the chat, Jeremy, saying, I love Obi. I am curious to see what Knicks fans think of Obi Toppin because he's developed a fair bit from where he was. But I think at first, a lot of people thought, oh my God, you guys took this guy with the 8th overall pick. You know, he didn't. People expected a little bit more out of him in his rookie season, but he's kind of come along nicely for you guys. You do have a good energy player in Obi Toppin, and I'm gonna say on the topic of 8th overall picks, I was flaming the pick of Franz Wagner to the Orlando Magic. In my mind, I thought they were expecting to get Scotty Barnes. So when they didn't get Scotty and they got Jalen Suggs, who I think they were happy to take at the time. But you do have an overloaded backcourt at that point. You got Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, what's his name? RJ Hampton. And then you also now have Suggs in there. It's like, it's a lot of guards to have on a young team, right? Someone's got to get the reins at some point a little bit. So I think that they panicked and they're like, okay, we need a front court piece now that we just drafted another guard. And I thought that they were premature pulling the trigger in the top 10 of a really historic draft on Franz Wagner. I'm eating my words. Eating my words. Franz Wagner is like pushing into the top 3 rookie voting. He's been a beast for the Orlando Magic. And who knows, maybe it's just a cool rookie season and then he kind of fizzles out. But I think I was just wrong on this one, honestly. Like, if you guys want to see me get flamed in a comment section, like, I don't even look at it because I'm afraid of what people are saying. Go to Courtside Digest, not now, but later. Go to Courtside Digest and type in Franz Wagner, I think blunder of the draft 2021. Something along those lines. It's on Courtside Digest, one of our channels, and I'm getting cooked. I'll be completely honest about that. But play is back underway right now. Raptors with the ball. I did call Josh Giddey being one of the steals of the draft, though, so I balances out. You know, my draft analysis is still somewhere. And Scotty Barnes with a massive arcing hook shot over Obi Toppin there. What a bucket for Scotty Barnes, showing some old school basketball versatility. And then Obi, wow, connecting for the alley-oop there. Takes the pass from Emmanuel quickly, flushes it. They're only still down by 2 points. 77-75 is the score with 6:15 left to go in the game. Fred VanVleet's got the ball. In the mid-range to Pascal, he's got to hit that. Misses it. That's about as wide open as you're going to get, Pascal. Derrick Rose misses that shot, and then perfect. Fred VanVleet there to get the rebound. No whistle. Raptors take it the other way. That was good defense in transition there on D Rose. Fred VanVleet takes the pick. Shoots the mid-range. Misses. I need to see harder picks get set on this Raptors team. Precious Achiuwa, he does a pretty good job of setting heavy picks. But I don't notice it on too many other guys. Like Pascal doesn't really set hard picks. Scotty Barnes, unfortunately, doesn't really set hard picks. Kem Birch does, though. I'll give him that. Kem Birch knows his role pretty good. Just go over there, bump and grind, and be the cleanup man. We're definitely missing Kem Birch these days. Shouts out the Canadian. Tom Moreau talking about Isaac Bonga right now. I think I'm missing some of the context here. I've not been a big fan of Isaac Bonga. He's okay. But if we're playing him, I don't think we're in our best situation. I don't think this team, healthy, even thinks about putting Bonga on the court. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel pretty strong about saying that without any injuries, we do not put Isaac Bonga out for meaningful minutes, really ever. He had an okay performance the other night, but like really nothing special. Like pretty replaceable in my opinion. I don't think he was too efficient. Either way, I'm not trying to just blow up Isaac Bonga, who's had a pretty good season with the 905. I just don't see him being any kind of like realistic impact piece at the next level now or even in time to come. Just kind of a pessimist, I guess, eh? So Tom Moreau saying, yeah, nobody on the Raps sets proper picks except for Birch. Yes, yeah, Birch for sure. And then Ty Cornfield saying Turner would be a nice fit, especially from a pick setting standpoint. Having a big body 7-foot player who's serviceable, has good IQ, sets heavy picks. Yes, I would love that. We don't really have much of a pick and roll game. I talk about how when Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka were operating for the Raptors, you had a lot of the pick and pop. Serge was great about setting a hard pick and then hinging out so he can take the pass from Lowry and pull up in the mid-range. That shot was unconscious for Serge. You guys remember Band-Aid Serge? He was just, I don't know why I specifically remember that version of Serge Ibaka as just untouchable in the mid-range. But him and Kyle Lowry had some serious pick and pop chemistry. Shouts out Serge and the Groat. But yeah, since then we haven't really had a lot of pick and roll, pick and pop chemistry on the team. Scotty Barnes moving around like Giannis out there. Flames are coming on. That's a big bucket. It was a tie game at 77, and now it's 79-77. Scotty Barnes going hard and getting a basket for the Raps. I'm all congested right now. Not sick, just congested. But Rose out to Toppin. Airballs the three. Then D Rose gets blocked by Banton. Or not by Banton, by Boucher. And then a shot clock violation. Great defense. I'm turning on the Flames for a defensive possession there. Raptors locking in. This is the clutch part of the game where you got to be playing lights out defense. And then Scotty Barnes at the other end. We're just getting a replay there. What a move. He just committed to bully ball pretty much at the top of the key and backed down Derrick Rose the whole way. Love to see it. And if you guys are watching right now, drop a like spike. 90 people who are tuning in live at the moment. Fred VanVleet. There we go. There we go, guys. The Flames are off, and now they are back on. I'm going to be making it rain as well. We got burning money on the screen. But that's because we got money coming in. The bet has been hit. Back into the W column with the bets. I still think we have won more than we have lost on the live streams, but locking in a W tonight, that is over that is over triple your return on investment if you put money on it. Check it out. Scotty Barnes over 10.5 assists and rebounds. Fred VanVleet at least 3.5 threes in the match. We've hit both, ladies and gentlemen. All we need now is a Raptors W to feel real good. 82-77 is the score. 3:50 left in the game. Perfect. The Knicks miss a three there. Emmanuel quickly fails to get that shot to sit. And then Pascal Siakam with a nice little Euro step move, and he's fouled. He'll be shooting 2 at the stripe. 85 live viewers. Appreciate everybody who's watching right now. Mason in the chat saying the Raptors will be great. It may take time, but we will get there. Young team we have. I enjoy watching them grow. If we get Miles, then I can say we go for it all. We are missing one big who can set screens. Miles Turner is going to be a huge pickup if you can get him. I don't know what you end up giving up, but I think this team has the assets to give away for a Miles Turner without affecting your core that you want to build around. I think if Miles Turner comes here, as we said earlier in the podcast, if that's the situation, then you are fully in on the playoffs. It's no longer, maybe we'll go back to the lottery. And no, at that point, the explicit goal is beat teams that are beneath 500, have the occasional W against a top tier team, and squeeze your way into a playoff spot. To think that we would go to back to championship contention just because we have Miles Turner on the team, I don't think so. But one piece really can do so much for a team. In mid-season trades, we've seen it. I referenced earlier the Rudy Gay trade we made. I think we had half as many wins as we had losses at the trade deadline. And we turn it around, make the playoffs, and take a really stacked Brooklyn Nets team to 7 and essentially start the bench mob culture right there and then. We had a deep team. And it snowballs, continues to build, and you're rewarded with a championship eventually. But it's good to see that the Raptors are one center move away from being a pretty on paper complete roster. Obviously, you'll need to develop, make other tweaks here and there. But I'm so high on the idea of getting Miles Turner. It's just the perfect player to address our schematic needs. And I didn't think Indiana was going to be making him available. But it does sound like they're willing to part with either him or Sabonis. I think that Sabonis is the better player, but logically you'll get Miles Turner for cheaper. I think I'd be looking at Turner, but if you can get Sabonis, then I wouldn't say no to that either. Trust in Masai. That's the main message. Brian saying, let's go Toronto. Shouts out to Brian and Eric. I know they're cheering hard at home right now. Jeremy is cement. I believe he's the Knicks fan saying, why some of y'all so toxic? Jeremy, it's because we're winning right now. We're going to act toxic when we're on top, I guess. But I'll read out. That was a terrible answer on my part. Raps fans care a lot. Sometimes it comes across as toxic. If you heard my rant earlier talking about the Miami Heat, that sounded toxic. I'll own that. So Chris Boucher, 14-8. Scotty Barnes, 10-14-3. That right there is his rebounds record for the season, I believe. Career high in rebounds. He's got a double-double. Nice performance for Scotty Barnes, and it's not over yet. And he's got to have a few. Okay, this makes no sense to me. Never mind, I was reading the wrong one. He's got 2 steals and 2 blocks. Only turned over the ball once. He does have 4 personal fouls, but a really good game right now for Scotty Barnes. Gary Trent Jr., 20 points, 1 assist. Fred VanVleet, 17, 6, and 10. Siakam, 12, 10, and 3. So both Siakam and Barnes recording double-doubles tonight. That's great. And then Yuta Watanabe, 4 points. Svi Mikhailuk, 5 points. And 1 monster block on Mitchell Robinson. I'll just point that back out. And we got 91 people watching right now. Shouts out the live viewers. We got up to our record of live viewers, at least for my live streams the other nights. We had like 260 people in here as the OKC game was coming down to the wire. I want to get to that as like a regular standard of how many people are tuning in. That'd be great to see, but appreciate everybody who's helped us build so far. Siakam hits that free throw. The score is 84-77 with 3:35 left to go in this game. Raptors trying to hold it down, get a victory at home versus the Knicks, who have been struggling a lot. I know Tom Thibodeau is probably going crazy. And then an and one bucket for Randall. He's had a pretty quiet night, but big play there for the Knicks. Chance to get into a 4-point deficit. Raps are only leading by 5 now. Armav saying if Siakam and VanVleet can play a bit more consistent, that would help a lot. Siakam, if he can just be a bit more, not consistent, efficient. If he can be a bit more efficient, that helps. Fred has his nights too. I just think both of those guys, Pascal and Fred, as much as it's weird, you live and die by it, right? You want them to be the guy, but then they're inefficient, so you don't want them to be the guy. And wow, what a dunk! Scotty Barnes putting it down with some authority, taking the pass from Pascal. There you go. Pascal not trying to, he's not forcing himself to be the man there. Defers to the rookie who gets a big dunk. Scotty Barnes building on that double-double performance right now. But I find that both Fred and Pascal, when they try too hard to be the guy, I get it. Like other nights it will pay off, but sometimes I do notice it as toxic to their playing style, where it's like, look, you can still try to be a primary scorer, but if that shot isn't there on that possession, don't still have it in your head that you are the primary scorer. Call an audible, make a read, and pass it. I just feel like when those two have the green light, they have trouble turning it off. And you got a deep team, so they've done a good job of finding others tonight. Fred VanVleet airballs a 3-point shot. The Raps are only up by 3. There's 2:22 left in this game. We got 100 live viewers. Guys, don't go anywhere. This is coming right down to the wire again. But Scotty Barnes, you love to see him getting hyped up after a big dunk. And if you guys missed it, I have hit my bet. I'm going to make it rain with the animation one more time. But we hit our bet tonight. That's over triple your return on investment. Check out the bets on Twitter before game. RJ Barrett with a high floater shot. Siakam doing a good job of getting there to contest it, but over his head. Fred VanVleet calling a play as he walks up. Scotty Barnes helping him direct. Offensive foul. Gary Trent Jr. trying to create some space there, pushes off on the defender a bit, and it's called down by the officials. We're only up by 1 point right now. Tom Duke saying we need to finish this. Diljit saying Raptors fans have mastered the art of giving their fans heart attacks. At this point, I'm going to be dropping before I turn 30 because this team stresses me out a ton. And then, oh my God, D Rose putting up the Knicks by 1, hits a mid-range J. For the first time, I think like this whole game, the Raptors are trailing. It's been close, but Knicks pulling ahead by 1 point with 1:25 left to go. Gary Trent Jr., he's been hot. Long 2, misses the shot. We tap it out though. Fred VanVleet, deep 3, misses that. Scotty Barnes with another big rebound. Gary Trent Jr. hits it, man. Delivers. Oh my God. Finally breaks through. Persistence on the offensive end. And then the guts of a cat burglar. Gary Trent Jr. stealing the Hornets announcers' terms here. Knocks down the third try for the Raptors. We're back ahead by 2 points, 89-87. Fred VanVleet almost getting a deep 3, but Scotty Barnes was such a key rebound. That's rebound number 15, at least. Yep, it is. So Scotty, 12, 15, and 3 assists. All right. I like what I'm seeing, guys. 100 live viewers in here. The guts of a cat burglar. Like, when they said that, I was trying to figure out what that means. Like, because after the Terry Rozier shot, if you guys missed it, the Hornets announcer, like, yelled that out. Like, Terry, with the guts of a cat burglar. Does that just mean, like you need to be a pretty crazy individual to, like, steal cats, like pets? You got to be gutty? I heard that and it kind of blew my mind, but I love it. Shouts out the Hornets announcers. They put some electricity into NBA games. Someone needs to give them the finals gig. And Gary Trent Jr. having quite the night right now. 23 points. He is, what's his efficiency rate from 3? 5 of 7. He's got 3 steals. Doing a little bit of everything right now. I mean, he's got no rebounds and 1 assist, but being very efficient. He's getting buckets and playing defense right now. Love what I'm seeing from Gary Trent Jr. Tom Moreau saying we need Siakam to get the ball now to draw fouls. Maybe a bit of a hot take, but I like the way Tom's going with this, putting his faith in Siakam. He is pretty good at getting fouled. Let's see what happens. Raps are in the bonus. Rose on the baseline finds Burks to RJ Barrett, who's guarded by Gary Trent Jr. And then big defensive collapse there by the Raptors, or they collapse on the ball, contest the shot, it goes out off of the Knicks, and then the Raps are retaining possession here. When I said defensive collapse there, I mean they support Justin Champagnie and Scotty Barnes, both the rookies flying up there to make sure that shot didn't reach the rim. And then it's going to be Raptors ball, getting rewarded for a big defensive effort. Shouts out to 115 people who are watching right now. Like spike in the building. If you guys are watching, drop a like, help out the channel. Raps up by 2 with under a minute to go in this game. Tom Thibodeau looking like Guru from Despicable Me. Super cranky. I don't blame him. The Knicks have sucked recently. He's screaming at the refs. They want a recall or a review on that out of bounds. Stay tuned. Commercial break, so we'll see what the call ends up being there. But the call on the floor at least was Raptors ball, so there will need to be sufficient evidence to overturn that. But the Raptors having a lead right now. It's been close all game since the first quarter where, yes, the Raptors did have a lead of 20. And normally I'm hard on them, but I get it, right? It's a game of runs. Like, I did not expect the Raptors to just never look back like Memphis versus OKC. I expected a decently close game. The Knicks are playing desperate. The Raptors needed to answer after that ugly game at home versus OKC. And here you are, a tight game. Under a minute left, guys. It's been exciting. So thank you for everyone who's been tuning in. I'm trying to keep up with the chat a little bit here. I find for the fourth quarter, I pretty much just like sign out of the chat. All game, I try to be pretty good about, reading things that people are saying, responding to them, saying it out loud, interacting. I got to start doing more polls in the chat. But in the fourth quarter, I'm pretty much locked in on the game. And sometimes, I don't know why, but my Rogers broadcast is literally slow compared to, I don't know, other people's Rogers broadcast. Like, I get spoilers sometimes in the chat. So, you know, guys, as a Raptors fan, I got to lock in, see this firsthand for myself. No spoilers allowed. I'm blown away by Scotty Barnes right now. I just got to say that he's played 40 minutes tonight, leading the Raptors in total minutes played. He leads all rookies in the NBA, by the way, in minutes played, but I still feel like he was robbed for the rookie of the month there by Evan Mobley. But no disrespect to Mobley. He's having a wild rookie season. 12, 15, and 3, shooting 50%. He's only taken 1 3-pointer tonight, and he did not hit it, but Scotty Barnes is learning to stretch the floor as well, which is very exciting. And then Marcel Martin flying in with a super chat right now saying, sorry that I'm tardy to the party. Date night got spicy. What did I miss? Marcel Martin coming in here hot. Dropping a super chat. Marcel, it's you missed the Raps being up 20 in the first quarter. Since that point, it's the game of runs. New York's answered, and it's been very close since that point. But Scotty Barnes with a monster double-double. Siakam has a double-double as well, even though he's been super inefficient. Raps are currently in the bonus. The Knicks are not. Tom Moreau saying give the ball to Pascal so he can be fouled. And let's see what just happened here. There was a review on the out-of-bounds ball, and it looks like the Knicks get it back. So Tom Thibodeau going crazy for good reason. I called him Guru from Despicable Me a moment ago. I still think that's pretty accurate looking at him. I don't know who else sees that, but Burks inbounding the ball for the Knicks. 89-87 is the score. Exactly 51.2 left in the game. Oh, wow. That was a solid pick there by Randall. And then Fred VanVleet's got Scottie Barnes back, getting a big steal to bail out the Raptors defense there on Julius Randle. It goes out of bounds, but Scottie Barnes getting blown up on this pick. That was probably a clean pick, but Fred VanVleet stepping up, grabbing the ball, and then Pascal Siakam helping out, ends up putting it out of bounds. It's going to be Knicks ball, but great support defense there by the Raptors. Scottie Barnes does get blown up by the picks occasionally, but I love the intensity he brings. He's trying to fight through everything. Good defense by Pascal. Oh, great defense by the Raptors, forcing Burks to take a completely off-balance shot. He's begging for a foul. You're not going to get one there. That was just tough defense. He's mad at himself. Drop an L in the chat for Burks. And right now, 22 seconds left in the game, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Pascal Siakam's got it. He's probably going to go to the paint and try to get fouled, as Tom Moreau's been saying. Pulls up for the J. Misses it. Champagny not able to get the rebound. Barrett's bringing it back for the Knicks. I don't love that shot for Pascal, but... Oh, and that shot just spilling out for Randall. Oh, that is... I'm putting on the flames, but I'm like... dropping RIP for Knicks fans in the chat right now. I know we haven't won this game yet, but oh my gosh, Julius Randle almost hitting a 3 there. It spills out. Gary Trent Jr. with, I think, his first rebound of the game. And the most important one, gets fouled. He's shooting 2. If he can hit both of these, I mean, it's pretty much 0.9 seconds left. You're already looking at a Hail Mary. He hits the one, so 3-point lead right now for the Raps. Let's see if he can hit a second. This puts it just like completely out of range. Come on, stamp it. Misses it, and they immediately call a timeout. All right, of course, Gary wants some entertainment for the fans in the building tonight. Didn't want to ice the game right there and then. Instead, the Knicks are on timeout. They will have one last opportunity with 0.6 seconds left to shoot a 3. Let's see what happens. Jeremy Cement in the chat, the Knicks fan saying, come on. Yeah, he can't believe this right now. That was brutal. I'm laughing at you guys because that is awesome. The Raps are going to hopefully win this. But wow, that's tough. I mean, we felt the other side of that so many times. I feel it with Pascal Siakam where he has a really good take for his last take of the game, but the ball just spills out or he blows an open layup or something. Not saying it was as bad there for Randall, but almost hitting the 3. Knicks fans got to feel kind of robbed by that one. And it is a pretty low scoring game. Tom Moreau pointing that out. The Raptors have been really defensively engaged. We've struggled on our own account to score, but we've been good about limiting the opposition right now. And Marcel Martin piping up with another super chat saying, #do it for Nav. I almost forgot. Nav Bahita, the Raptors super fan, missing his first game tonight because of COVID protocols. That's heartbreaking. I can't believe he's never missed a Raptors game, or home game, that is. And tonight's the first one. That's sad, but putting health and safety first, it is what it is. But damn. Shout out Marcel Martin for the super chat and showing Nav, the Raptors super fan, some big time love. He's a legend. Susie saying, great game. Thanks for calling it, Josh. Not a problem at all. I love doing this. Let's see. All right, Burks is about to inbound it. I'm hoping that... I mean, this is going to be tough for the Knicks here. 0.6 left. RJ. Wow, that was close. That was close. The Raps hold on. The Raptors walk away with what is exactly the final score here. It is a 90-87 victory for the Toronto Raptors. The defense was locked in tonight, especially in the fourth quarter. I was blown away at the defensive intensity of Scottie Barnes and Champagny, especially Scottie, but the rookies really bring in the heat defensively against the Knicks. This was awesome. An answer W. You have a long road, well, not a crazy long road, but some work to do before you get back to 500 on the record. But good things, man, encouraging things. And we got 150 live viewers in here. if you guys are watching this right now, do me a big favor and drop a like before you guys go to check out Ben and Riker's post game. They're going to be jacked up after this, and Riker is a closet Knicks fan, so Jeremy, if you're in the chat right now, I know he can relate. He's part of him's probably like, damn, the Knicks got robbed. But what am I saying? Of course, Riker is a Raptors fan first before anything, but they will have some fun takes about this game. A great game to watch. We had a 20-point lead there in the first quarter. That did not last. I did not expect it to last. And then ultimately, we still end up with a winning verdict here tonight. Awesome stuff. So make sure to go check out Ben and Riker's post game. Thank you to everybody who's in the chat. This has been a real treat to call of a game. And definitely tune in for the next game, which is December 13th versus Sacramento. Another opportunity at home to improve this record and potentially fight for a play-in game. I was saying earlier tonight, guys, you get a full roster back, maybe improve at the trade deadline. Initially, I was saying that this team, an 8th seed is like the ceiling of where we can go. A 6th seed is the ceiling of where we can go. But hey, if we make a big trade at the trade deadline, get a Miles Turner, I mean, playoffs is like at very least where you set the bar at that point. The Raptors are starting to figure it out. This has been a lot of fun, guys. As I said, they will be back December 13th to face the Kings. And until that point, I'm signing off.